John D. Rockefeller created a Standard Oil Company, a success of which made him the world's first billionaire and a celebrated philanthropist. He gathered admirers, of which most of them were of course severe critics, during his lifetime and even after his death.
These are days when many are discouraged. In the 93 years of my life, depressions have come and gone. Prosperity has always returned and will again.
Wall Street also admired his money-making abilities. Rockefeller's success attracted scrutiny as well. The public eye was drawn to his wealth, which led to investigative journalists digging deep into his wealth and exposing his unethical business practice. This man was the main reason why they had to pass a law to curb monopolistic behavior in businesses at that time. His empire was so vast and would swallow up any competitor. John Davison Rockefeller was born on July 8, 1859, to William Avery Rockefeller and Eliza Davison in Richford, New York. Devil Bill, the nickname his father would rightfully earn, were planted in his earliest days. Born in 1810, young Bill was a wanderer from the start, known for the disappearing act he would pull off even as a boy. By his early 20s, his career as a vagabond and a charlatan was well underway. Throughout his life, he spent considerable energy on tricks and schemes to avoid plain hard work. Devil Bill was not always a constant figure in John D's life, but yet his influence had an impact on his son. He was a pitchman, a doctor who claimed he could cure cancer up to $25 a treatment. He would disappear for long stretches of time in which he would usually run up in debt and get himself into more trouble. Then he would randomly show up back home, usually at night, bearing cash and wild tales about his adventures.
I'd like to buy some. $1.25 a bottle, yes sir.
He disappears for months at a time, leaving his family without money to support themselves.
I'm only here for one day. Once I'm gone, I am gone. I may not be back.
Devil Bill, as he was always called, was so disciplined and tried hard as possible to teach his sons the reality of life. He once said to a neighbor, "I do business deals with my sons and always try to cheat them to make them sharp." Bill was undoubtedly an entrepreneur, and he taught his young son John D about business by lending him money at whatever interest rate was current, then making a point to show up at random time and demand immediate payment in full.
Never trust anybody, son. Not even me.
This was the man he grew up under. John D. Rockefeller promised never to be like his father. The family later moved from Richford, New York to a town near Cleveland, Ohio, where he attended Cleveland Central High School. With his father's constant absence from the family and little to nothing to care for the family, he took it upon himself and had to take his father's place, though he was alive but somewhere else. He dropped out of high school and started his first job as an assistant bookkeeper, earning 50 cents per day. It wasn't enough. He had to manage by living frugal and saving more. With the little money he had saved and a loan from his entrepreneur's Nick oil salesman father, he opened his first business, a commodities brokerage, in 1859 by partnering with Maurice Clark. Together, they established a commission merchant business in Cleveland, trading in grains, hay, meat and other goods. Their early success, with impressive annual profit exceeding $17,000 by 1861, was a testament to Rockefeller's keen business acumen and meticulous approach. The Civil War fueled their business growth, with the rising grain prices boosting their commission. Rockefeller's calculated style, averse to speculation and risks, ensured a steady profit. He was a tireless worker, traveling extensively to secure deals and securing substantial loans to manage shipment, ensuring the business thrived year after year. John D. saw the limitations of the commission merchant business in Cleveland, anticipating the shift to road transport and the decline of the city's port advantage. He foresaw the growing importance of the Midwest and Northwest on the grain production, recognizing that the future lays in industrial materials, not agricultural commodities. Cleveland's central location, accessible by rail and water, provided a unique opportunity. On August 27, 1859, Edwin Drake struck oil near Titusville, Pennsylvania, setting off a frenzied oil boom in what soon became known as the oil regions of northwestern Pennsylvania. Drake was the employee of a group of New Haven, Connecticut investors in the Pennsylvania's Rock Oil Company. They had obtained a sample of the Pennsylvania oil and had a Yale University student analyze it. The chemist determined that Pennsylvania oil was of high quality and could be refined into a variety of useful products. The technology used by Drake was not new. What was new was the idea of drilling for oil, the idea that you could pump oil out of the ground like you could pump water. This wasn't the first time oil had been discovered. Oil had actually been discovered by the Chinese in 600 BC and transported in pipelines made from bamboo. However, Colonel Drake's heralded discovery of oil in Pennsylvania in 1859 and speeded up discovery in Texas in 1901 set the stage for the new oil economy even before oil was discovered in the Middle East. Rockefeller began investigating the feasibility of entering the oil refining business in 1862. But you might ask, why didn't Rockefeller drill for oil but rather went into oil refinery? You see, back then, drilling for oil was basically a gamble. One key reason why drilling for oil in Rockefeller's time was considered a gamble was the risk of drilling a dry well. Even after investing substantial time and money into drilling a well, there was no guarantee of finding oil in commercial quantities. In many cases, drilling efforts resulted in disappointment, as the wells turned out to be non-productive or contains only a small amount of oil. So, while gamblers drill for oil, businessmen refine it.
Once the oil gets to 350 degrees, the kerosene starts to vaporize. Then once it's cooled, you have a stable, pure product. How much to produce a gallon? 50, 60 cents, I don't know.
Rockefeller's insight puts him one step ahead of his competitors. He believes that while gamblers drill for oil, businessmen refine it.
Whoever could control the refining process could very well have the whole industry.
In 1862, Rockefeller and Morris Clark alongside Clark's brothers partnered again, this time around entering into the oil business, specifically to refine oil. The firm Andrews, Clark and Company was formed in 1863. The Pennsylvania oil was of high quality. One barrel could possibly yield 60 to 50% Illuminati oil, 10% gasoline, 5 to 10% benzol or naphtha, a volatile inflammable liquid used as a solvent in dry cleaning varnish making. Rockefeller's relentless pursuit of efficiency was always legendary. He abhorred every risk and meticulously scrutinized every aspect of his business, believing that success lay in extracting every piece of efficiency. This meticulous approach extended to even the smallest details. He bypassed traditional suppliers, establishing his own plumbing shop and cooperage, ensuring total control over the quality and cost of barrels. He bought up a vast land in order to cut the trees and make them into barrels. He even built kilns and steamer tracks, drying the wood on site before transporting it to the corporate shop in Cleveland, reducing transportation costs. Rockefeller's approach would be today vertical integration. It's a business tactic which exemplified his commitment to maximizing efficiency and minimizing waste. In February 1865, at the age of 24, Rockefeller bought out the Clark brothers for $72,500 and gained the complete control of the business. In 1866, John D. brought him his brother William Rockefeller into the partnership, and they built another refinery in Cleveland, where they initially named it the Standard Works. They also opened the New York City office with William Rockefeller in charge to handle the export, which extremely became larger than the domestic business. Henry Flagler, a self-made businessman with a keen eye for opportunity, joined forces with John D. Rockefeller in 1867. Flagler and Rockefeller had already met years earlier in Bellevue, Ohio, when Rockefeller was buying grains for his commission merchant business and Flagler was a grain merchant. They clicked so well, they had a lot in common. Just like Rockefeller, Flagler had also left school at a young age to support his family. He had already experienced both success and failures in various adventures. He had worked as a grain merchant and later ventured into the salt well business, only to face bankruptcy in 1865. Undetailed as he was, Flagler quickly rebuilt his fortune in Cleveland as an oil barrel manufacturer, establishing an office in the same building as Rockefeller. These two men, sharing similar ambitions and business acumen, saw the potential in each other. Flagler's entrepreneurial spirit and Rockefeller's financial prowess proved to be a powerful combination. They were further strengthened by the financial backing of Stephen Harkness, Flagler's wife's uncle, who became his silent partner. Harkness' substantial investment fueled the growth of the partnership, paving the way for its future dominance in the oil industry. Within a year, Rockefeller, Andrews, and Flagler had become the world's largest oil refiner. Flagler and Rockefeller saw that to thrive in this nascent industry, they needed to scale their operations and find a way to leverage every aspect of their business. The refining process in those days was very basic, involving simple cooking and purification of the crude oil. The equipment was equally rudimentary, requiring minimal investment. Setting up a small refinery was so simple as starting a small business today, with an initial investment of just $10,000 to $50,000. This low barrier entry created a high competitive market where even the small, inefficient refiners could profit when kerosene prices go high. However, when prices plummeted, many of those small operations were forced out of business. The volatility made it clear to Rockefeller and Flagler that to succeed long term, they needed to be bigger, more efficient, and more resourceful than their counterparts. This understanding formed the foundation of the strategy. They built high-quality, larger, better planned refineries. They owned their own barrel-making plant, which helped them cut cost of a barrel from $3 to $1.50. They manufactured their own sulfuric acid. In fact, they owned everything from the production line, the transportation, and distribution. Nothing was left to chance. Nothing was guessed at. Nothing left uncounted and unmeasured. Efficiency down to the smallest details of the business were the order of the day. Economy, precision, and foresight were the cornerstone of their success. Rockefeller saw the oil industry as a chaotic mess with low barriers entry in both drilling and refining. The market was flooded with crude oil, leading to rampant waste and inefficient practices. He believed that the traditional idea of free competition didn't function well when larger, efficient companies coexisted with smaller players. Desperate to survive would often lower the prices below production costs, creating a downward spiral that hurt even the well-managed firms, including his own. This realization led Rockefeller to devise a bold strategy: consolidation. He saw that the only way to stabilize the industry and achieve long-term profitability was to eliminate the chaos caused by cutthroat competition. He began buying up small, struggling refineries, absorbing them into his growing empire. This systematic consolidation allowed him to control an increasing share of the market, driving out competitors and actually creating a near monopoly. What began as a small merger and acquisition of small businesses was indirectly creating a giant that would soon take over every aspect of the oil industry. By 1880, Standard Oil owned and controlled 90% of the US oil refining business, making it the first great industrial monopoly in the world. Rockefeller's rise to power was marked by a combination of straight business tactics, opportunistic timing, and a relentless pursuit of efficiency. The kerosene market then was a primary source of home lighting, was plagued by inconsistent quality, with some vendors selling high volatile kerosene that led to frequent house fires. Rockefeller saw an opportunity to create a safe and reliable product. He ensured his kerosene met strict quality standard, creating a brand known for its uniformity and predictability.
Oil refining, warehouses, barrel making, and shipping facilities.
Why the name?
Because Standard Oil will be the only company in the industry to guarantee a uniform quality of kerosene.
He then got lucky. Vanderbilt had overbuilt the New York Central. He needed a steady volume of cargo for his trade. He offered Rockefeller a sweet deal if Rockefeller would guarantee a certain volume. When he got a bit too big for Vanderbilt and Carnegie, they decided to knock him down a leg. Rockefeller responded by cutting off supplies to US Steel and shipping his oil by pipelines. This left him with a 90% monopoly on US kerosene and independence from real shippers. Just as Rockefeller's kerosene monopoly seems to be unchallengeable, a new threat emerged: the invention of the alternating current by Nikola Tesla, which posed a direct challenge to his business. But then again, fortune smiled on him once more. Henry Ford's Model T, powered by gasoline, created a whole new demand for fuel, and Rockefeller was well positioned to supply. As a businessman, Rockefeller was ruthless. He bought out smaller oil refineries and crushed the ones who wouldn't sell. By today's currency, he amassed a fortune that ran $340 billion USD. On the second day of July 1890, a law was passed by Congress to stop monopoly in business and allow free trading. This law was particularly passed because of Rockefeller and his Standard Oil Company. The following year, the company was charged with a breach of the law. The violation of the Sherman Antitrust Act through anti-competitive actions, that is, forming a monopoly, and ordered the company be geographically split. In 1911, the US Supreme Court ruled that Standard Oil Trust be dissolved and that the Sherman Antitrust Act and split into 34 companies.